All right. Well, what's up, everybody? Good to see everyone here today. Coming in for the 80th open house, I think is what we're at. And also, big special day. It is the 7th anniversary or birthday, whatever you want to call it, anniversary, birthday. I like birthday. I think it's more fun that way, celebratory almost, and of Nucamp. And just happy to be able to be here and talk about tech on a beautiful Friday evening. Xandra is with me
Mm-hmm.
today. As always, the dynamic duo here just talking about tech and yapping and having fun together. Xandra, what you been up to? Good to see you.
Nothing much. I like to call them orbits. When it's my wedding anniversary, I'll call them anniversaries. But like Earth orbits around the sun. How many trips around the sun has New Kemp made?
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
didn't think about
seven.
it that way. 7 now,
Mm-hmm.
almost at the double digits. I know that's throbbing at Ludo's heartstrings right now. It's his little baby, his other little baby. So we got DJ up in the hizzy today, and we got Irene here too.
Mm-hmm.
Irene, always good to see you. And Anuja is here too. What's up, Anuja? Good to see you. Happy birthday to New Camp. Yeah, and you know I love that Irene put something together for us. She actually put in a little snippet, and
Mm-hmm.
it's already on our social medias, and you can see that at the ticker at the bottom. Follow us on Instagram for more exclusive content. Usually, it's short form content where we're just kind of going over information about the tech industry. That could be job placement help, general tech advice, anything like that. Just talking about a lot that falls within the umbrella of tech. So if you're interested in that, go to our social media, check that out. But Sandra, if you could, like, let's pull up
Yeah.
that
No
video
worries.
that Irene got for us here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. And while you're showing that, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not back here by the end of the video, it's because I'm getting a special little surprise for the stream. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
All right. It looks like the sound
Sorry,
wasn't
the
going
sound is.
through. Yeah, let's see if we
Oh,
can.
really?
Let's see if we can run it back real fast. I'll share it from my screen real quick.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's because I muted my mic. It muted my whole audio.
Oh, probably so. Because when you
Okay, let
share
me try it one
something
more
in
time.
here, I got it.
Mhm.
It's all good. No worries.
Okay, good.
Becoming a developer because we are seeing remote work, we are seeing high pay.
Get out of the rat race that I was in, and I knew that coding can do it.
Very, very low skill by the time I decided to enroll in Nucamp, but that was the next step for me.
I think Nucamp is fantastic. I think the price point for Nucamp is just hands down like one of the best selling factors.
They're going to break it up into payments where I pay $350 a month for X amount of months. I can do that.
I'm a programmer. I build websites. I'm gonna build a matrix next kind of thing.
Building the Matrix next, and don't. I mean, like, I love that guy's energy in that video. By the way, it makes me want to like just hang out with him. But while that video was going, I actually grabbed a nice little update for us. Last time we were doing one of these, we had Toast involved, and we were going to talk about her progress with cybersecurity. But Toast decided to pivot into web development fundamentals instead.
A wise choice.
Oh yes, she
For
because
a
she
cat.
was yeah, right, especially for a cat. She was thinking that if I'm coming from the biscuit factory, right, let's get into something a little bit easier, right? But yeah, this is Toast, and she's been having a great time with Nucamp so far. It's funny, while the video was playing, she just was running like all around me and my arms and stuff. But now that she's on camera, she's chilling. So yeah,
really big already. Put her closer to the camera so all the
sure.
folks can see.
Even Irene's. Yeah, this is Toast.
Aww.
Hey, look at her.
Hi, Toasty.
She is looking directly into the camera. Do you see
your
that?
best in the coding class, Toast.
And so we'll be keeping up with her progress. Yeah, I think the thing that she likes the most about it so far is the visual representation that you get when you're learning. And so she's been taking at it pretty easily so far. So we'll be keeping up with everybody. And yeah, look. Oh, there we go. Toast is already getting some praise. She has her own emoji. I love it. Well, I'm gonna go put her into the other room. She's in a very, very playful mood, so I can fully expect her to cause some mayhem.
Hold it down till you get back. We have some questions here. I can take the first one. I saw on my YouTube tab a question from Humbled. And I'm not able to highlight it on the screen because it's not part of the stream here, but it says, how soon can I get a job after learning the fundamentals of HTML and CSS? I'm asking because I'm in between jobs and I want to make sure this is the right choice to secure a job. So Humbled, we are humbled to have you with us. Thank you for that excellent question. After learning HTML and CSS, there's not too many roles that you'll be qualified for. Unfortunately, because HTML and CSS is just the fundamentals, the basics of web development. It's the first two legs of a stool, so to speak. And I'm sorry to hear you're between jobs, but I'm happy to hear you're pursuing training. So take a look at our web development fundamentals course, and you'll learn a little bit more than just HTML and CSS. You can go for roles like like email developer, or like web content manager, web programming, or something like that. But yeah, for just HTML and CSS, it's kind of thin. But do some research on those keywords.
And boom, I don't know if that shows up on the live stream. Just had someone scan. Cool, awesome. Yeah, that's to schedule some time with one of us, me in particular. So ask some questions here if you have any preface type questions, and then you want to schedule a call where we're talking just one-on-one. Scan that QR code right up there. I can't believe I did that the right way the first time. And scan that QR code, and we can chat
small
a little
wins,
bit more.
Small wins.
It's the small little wins that get me through my day. So that thing up there, scan that. Was the question really revolving around, can I get a job with just knowing HTML and CSS?
Like how soon after I learn that can I get a job kind of question.
Yeah, it's a great stepping stone, is the way I like to look at it. I've actually seen some jobs, one particular job near my area that worked closely with the marketing team that was asking for HTML, CSS, and very, very basic JavaScript, maybe a little bit of PHP, but very doable role. I mean, seems pretty straightforward. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to flood them in the chat. Where did you see that question, Sandra? I don't think I saw it.
I saw it in my YouTube tab.
Okay.
And it's before the timestamp is not. It's before the stream went live. So
gotcha. Then I probably didn't see it on up there. So hopefully that person stuck around. And yeah, we got 18 people in the chat right now. So this is really time for you guys to ask two people who have worked in the field. I come from a developer background myself too. I specialize at helping people at the start line. Xandra also helps people at the start line, but she has more of an emphasis within the finish line. Is that safe to say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think my favorite is probably Python Django. And lately I've been super interested in AI
Mm.
tooling. So I've been reading up like a beast on that stuff. And yeah, any questions about becoming a career changer developer, or career questions, or you know coding questions, cybersecurity questions, we'll do our best, and let us know. Let it rip.
Let's see here. Looks like we got one coming in now. Let's go ahead and read that off. I already finished the front end and got got certificate from
Yay.
Nucamp. I am doing back end right now. How soon can I get a job with just the front end certificate? That's a great
Hmm.
question. Xandra, would you like to take that? I'm gonna
Oh,
go over
sure.
some.
I would say it depends on your portfolio and your velocity of job applications or job inquiries. So, are you making, 2 to 5 inquiries per day? By inquiries, I mean sending an email to someone, calling someone on the phone, visiting a company, going to a meetup, attending an event or something, or applying to a role. If you're doing 5 of those a day each day, and you have a strong resume, strong portfolio, you could really benefit from looking at some of our stats at our website at the career services page under job outcomes. So we have like a 3 month, 6 month, a 9 month out from graduation um,
And that updates
stats there.
pretty frequently too, right?
Yeah. So 3, 6, 9 months out, you could see some of the stats there. It's looking pretty good. So it also depends on the types of roles that you're applying for. So let's say you're like, I just want a remote job. Nobody else come near me. I don't want to hear anything else. Then you're gonna kind of limit yourself a little bit, and yeah, that would make a difference in the length of your job search. You can feel free to give us more information there, YN Min, about your job search.
Yeah, and also that type of question as well. Um, we want to be able to give you like a hard date, right? Like that would be so easy for me and Sandra to just say, "Oh, it'll be X month," right? Um, but the reality of the situation is when you come in and ask a question like that, it's like going to a doctor and saying, "Doc, I don't feel good. When will I start feeling better?" Right? And it's you got to have a bit more context behind what you're doing in tandem with going through the boot camps and what you're learning, what you're building, how you're reaching out to people on LinkedIn. There's a lot of underlying things, the small things. Like we said earlier, right? The small wins, right? And as long as you're doing a little bit of those every single day, go to tech meetups, reach out to people on LinkedIn, apply as much as you can. Be okay if you get an interview and you're not qualified for it. That's actually great. It gives you amazing practice. I can't tell you how many times I got an interview and I was not ready for that type of position, but it gave me so much insight to who I am as a developer. So, yeah, it'll be as quickly as you wanted to make it, but definitely utilize Xandra too. Schedule some time with Xandra. Talk to her. Kevin, man, I love this question. Kevin, is 42 too old to get into tech? I know the job market is getting tough. I'm working on projects and enrolling into the backend bootcamp. Firstly, congrats on rolling into the backend bootcamp. That I'm very partial to that one. I think that the curriculum within that is amazing. Um, is 42 too old? No, absolutely not. I mean, that's whenever you're going for a job, they have that as a legal requirement to you know, not hire people because of age. It's called age discrimination. So if you ever came across a situation like that, well, I mean, you have a lawsuit. But all jokes aside, no, 42 is not too old to get into this. Remember that you're providing solutions to companies. As long as you're continuing that education to be able to provide that solution, they're going to hire you. And so, anything to add to that, Sandra?
For sure. Yeah, it's great if you can tell that was a reason. And yeah, I know it. We gotta.
Yeah.
It's a laugh or cry situation, and we choose laughter. But you can mitigate a lot of that age discrimination, which is on all industry verticals, of course, but um, you can get around a lot of that if you use your personal network. And the good thing about being older is your personal network is a lot deeper than a young person's network, professional network. So anybody you know, if they're sweeping the floors at Walmart, you know somebody who works at Walmart. Like,
True.
hey, who
It's
do
true.
you call when your paycheck is late? Who do you contact? HR personnel. You have an email address for there, and then send your resume over. Hey, so and so is employed by y'all, and he gave me this email address. I just wanted to make sure I can get my resume to the right person. So go dig through your personal network, which is no doubt vast and deep, and start reaching out to people. Hey, how have you been since the pandemic? Hey, how are you doing lately? I saw you got a cat. How's it going? Just start those conversations from today.
Yeah. Amazing advice there, seriously. And I was going to add on to something there, but I'm drawing a blank now. All I was going to say was, oh, I remember now. When I was moving into the tech industry, I didn't come from any traditional background of that either. But people, I think, inherently really like an underdog story. So, like, if you're perceiving your age as a weakness, use that to your advantage. Put yourself out there, saying, "Yeah, so what if I'm 42? I'm going to tackle on this new industry head on, and people are going to want to see your progress." So whenever you go to tech meetups, whenever you're shaking hands or talking to people, use the fact that maybe you don't know too much to your advantage. So that way, when you meet them again, they can see your growth and how much that's been. And so yeah, I would definitely say turn that type of thinking around to use that as an advantage, and I
Mm-hmm.
think you'll start to see a lot of success. Krista in the chat, what's up, Krista? If we don't get to your question, Krista probably will, because she's amazing. Let's see, I haven't even read this one yet. I have 1 year developer experience, but most of the developer jobs are asking 3 to 5 experience. I want to build a strong portfolio in Nucamp. What kind of positions for early careers? Well, it really depends on what you're trying to go for, Jan. Like it's difficult to say on what type of positions you want to go for in your early career if you don't know what you're specializing in. So I want to answer your question, but if you could provide a little bit more context to what you personally like within tech, it helps guide me and Zandra to giving you advice that pertains directly to you. Unless you have something to mention there, Zandra.
Yeah, I would say ignore the 3 to 5 years experience if if you feel like you could do the job. If you feel like the job description is covering uh, um, duties that you feel you could execute well, just go ahead and apply. And if it's asking for like 10 years of experience and you only have 1 year of experience, maybe take a pause there. Sometimes it is the HR person just kind of went nuts on the writing, and they're
Yeah.
asking for the cream of the crop for no
It's,
reason.
it's funny. You'll see some postings that will say we require 10 to 15 years of experience, and maybe that language or framework hasn't even been
React
around.
Native. Yeah.
It's funny how that
Mhm.
works, huh? So sometimes it is okay to disregard that as long as you're hitting the keywords for whatever job you're trying to pursue too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Sandra. I
Oh
just
no,
was
no,
thinking
I
of
get
that
on a
funny
roll.
meme.
I get on a roll, so you got to jump in before I get
You think
carried
you get
away.
on a roll? Have you watched these live streams back? I am a professional yapper. I speak fluent Japanese, so I'm getting ready to start cybersecurity and was wondering what would be needed to have to start. Like, is there any software or anything like that? You just need a computer or laptop and a stable internet connection. All the software is going to be in day one for downloading and getting things accustomed to where you need to go for help, downloading things to your system. But working knowledge of a computer, laptop, Mac, or Windows doesn't really matter, and then stable internet connection. You should be good to go. Don't use a Chromebook with anything. Like those aren't real computers.
Nope, that's
Yeah, well, I said it.
fired.
Let's see.
They are
Krista,
when you install Linux on them, though.
Okay, all right. Like, Kevin, 42 years of experience. I'm about the same age, and just use that experience to bring more to the table. Great advice. And then Kevin coming back in to give us some validation. Thank you. You guys are great. No, you're great, Kevin. Let's see here. All right. Dominic, let's see. I just finished the back. Sorry if I'm like squinting here, guys. I don't have my glasses or anything, and I'm getting on up there in age where I need them. So I just finished the Nucamp backend DevOps with Python in 2022. Been trying to find an entry level position, but can't find one. Currently in college, and can that give me an upper hand? I think that's a perfect question for you, Xandra, because you've been here for quite some time, since 2022, right?
Yeah, I've been with Nucamp for a little bit. Not consecutively, but yeah. I think if you're going through college, definitely having a degree is gonna always boost your standing in the eyes of the recruiters or hiring managers. So in the hierarchy of education, unfortunately, they haven't wrapped their brains around the idea of people not going to college but still being skilled yet.
Yes.
So yeah, college is of course gonna be an upper hand against people who don't have degrees of some sort. You're looking for entry level positions and can't find one. When you say can't find an entry level position, what do you mean? Could you give us a little more meat on that? Do you mean you're getting lots of rejections, or you're not able to find enough roles to apply to? You're not able to find the positions.
Yeah, I would love to get more context behind that too. Let's see. He says I'm 27, by the way. Well, that age does bring some more context, because you're still very, very young. And Krista over here is reminding me of that. I'm over here talking about how I can't see and saying that I'm a kid. Yeah, that's right. I guess so. But yeah, keep those questions coming in. We got 22 people in the chat. And if you're too afraid to ask a question, or you can't type or anything like that, or you would prefer to speak to some of us one-on-one, follow. Wait, there we. I messed it up. There, I'm getting closer. There we go. That QR code. Scan that. Schedule some time, and I'd love to be able to have that conversation.
I see the reply from Dominic. He says lots of rejections. Okay, and Dean, I think we have. Do we have an early bird expiration coming up? Maybe after we finish Dominic's question, we should mention that for the folks. But yeah, Dominic, if you are experiencing the tsunami of rejections, that is normal, unfortunately. Try to keep in mind that the system for hiring is broken, and it's kind of it's over automated now, to the point where you can't really have a human contact. It's sort of like how, and I've said it before, people thought that we can escape from cable subscriptions by going to Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that. And now everyone has 1,000 subscriptions of streaming. So the price is exactly back up or more than it was during the cable era. So that's how it is with job applications. You used to go to an office or go to a company in person and give them a paper, and apply. And now they start saying, hey, we're going to streamline this. Go apply on the website. Go to the website. Go apply online. And now the website is right back to where we were. It's just as inefficient and probably way less than walking around your city and handing out your resumes. That's probably going to be a more effective way in 2024 of finding a role. So maybe you don't want to hear that, but yeah, if you have the skills and you have a degree, and you find that you're getting lots of rejections, it's either your resume is not working for you, or you're getting stuck in the automation. You're not doing enough human networking. So probably you'd want to focus on those hopefully I've answered that. Feel free to follow up in the chat.
Yeah. It's so funny to see that pendulum swing go back and forth with how to get hired on somewhere, huh? I remember my mom was pretty hardcore. So when I was first getting my job, she dropped me off at a mall and said, "You're not allowed to come home until you have 15 applications." And during that
Wow.
time, yeah, I know, right? I was at the mall for a while because at that time, everything was going online. So like apply online, and that was like the huge thing back then. Nobody
Before
had,
smartphone.
yeah, right. Nobody had like very few places had paper applications or was accepting a paper application or a resume. And so now it's funny because if you were to go in someplace and say, "Are you guys hiring? Here's my resume. Speak to a manager or something." There's been a huge disconnect with people that it's almost refreshing when somebody comes in and shows that initiative, shows that you're taking it very seriously. Because as this next generation is getting older, we've seen it through COVID. People have become more reclusive. People have just like wanted to take the easy route of just being anonymous and just sending it out there, hitting easy apply, and that's that. It's not the case anymore. You can't just only do that. So yeah, try that out. I think that would be really great. And I have no clue how to pronounce that display name, but hot take on Chromebooks, Dean. I don't think Toast would approve. I'll have to consult with Toast about that and see what she thinks. So, but yeah, right, Xandra, and streaming is raising all the prices. Shake my head. Yeah, I know that's right. Don't get me started on that, Krista. I can go on and on about that. How about how long could it be before I find a job in cybersecurity? I'm really interested in the pen testing part of it. So I think within pen testing, there has to be a fundamental knowledge of how security works in the first place. So you have to have a good understanding of that before you even know what you're trying to test through that penetration, right? And so that really depends on how quickly are you getting those certificates. Most of the time, people are getting those through CompTIA. And that's what the cybersecurity fundamentals does too. Well, you'll get 3 different certificates through Nucamp, but they also directly align to more certificates outside Nucamp as well. In fact, the last module, it's all about ethical hacking, which goes more in depth about that. And we even prep you for the CompTIA Pen Testing Plus. And so get all that. But how long could it be? That's your real question. How long could it be? Once again, as quickly as you want it to be or as slowly as you want it to be. I mean, it's like walking, like I said earlier, it's like walking into a doctor's office and say, "How do I feel better? How quickly can I feel better?" It's like, well, we got to diagnose this first, right? So how long have you been pursuing cybersecurity for? Let me flip the question back on you. Let's see here.
Good question.
Yeah, it's valid. Let's see. And before I get into these next questions, keep them coming in. I want to see the chat getting flooded. I love seeing that. Every time you do it, it makes Toast happy. So I'm going to leverage my kitten for marketing and all of that. I'm going to do it all. So, but real quick, I want to share my screen on something. Let's see. Boom. We have something called an early bird discount for all of our boot camps. And we have one coming up specifically for the web development fundamentals. We have one starting up on October 7th. I wanted to mention this real quickly to you guys because a lot of people forget about something called opportunity cost. We have an early bird discount specifically there to reward our students for reserving their seat and reserving their time for pursuing tech. And so if you go to any of these, October 7th, the early bird discount for that is going to be ending, I think, on this upcoming Monday. This is, generally speaking, this is the first step for most students for the complete software engineering bootcamp path. If you're starting completely from scratch, this is where you would begin. And you can see that with some of the other boot camps as well. Let's see. Backend, for instance, October 14th. That's a pretty easy one because the early bird discount for that would end on October 1st. So just something I wanted to throw at you guys. If you guys are thinking about signing up or if you guys are exploring the idea of it, just have that in mind for that too. But let me go ahead and stop sharing the screen. And we will bounce back into the questions. If you guys are curious about how those discounts and everything works, or if you're looking at trying to get a little bit of an extra discount, QR code right there, scan it, get some discounts. I'm just saying, I like coupons. Anyway,
It's good. We need a little levity injected in our day. It's Friday.
it's true. Krista comes in saying, "Shiny, pen testing is quite lucrative, so it can be quickly if you look right."
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Nick has a great question. Let's see what this is. I think it's a great question. I've worked as an HVAC technician for the last 15 years. I'm kind of burned out on that, and I'm considering a career change. I have little to no tech experience. Which boot camp would be the best? So I was actually just mentioning while showing that early bird discount, generally speaking, the web development fundamentals is where I would guide most people towards if they're starting completely from scratch. The reason for that is you get a great fundamental knowledge of front end development, and that leads directly into more of the intermediate to advanced stuff. Within backend, if you hit run on your computer for a line of code, it doesn't look very pretty. You don't really get much that pops up on your screen. But for front end, if you hit run on your computer, you're going to see it all pop up on your screen. It's going to give you a nice dopamine hit. You're going to go, whoa, I love this. And or wait, that's not how I want this to look at all. And then you dig into the problem. And so if you're coming from this type of background, I would guide you towards the web development fundamentals to just try out as a stepping stone, and then take that knowledge, use it somewhat kind of as a prerequisite into the full stack bootcamp. That's really what's going to put you on the map for getting job ready skills. But real quick, and I've said this so many times, I'm sure some people in the chat are getting tired of me saying this. When you build projects, when you get into this industry, build something related to your past experience. If you're building a project that works within HVAC in some type of way, then when you go and sit down at an interview, it's going to be a whole lot easier to deflect into why you're there and kind of get off of that and focus on the technical aspect. Anything to add to that, Xandra? I kind of really started monologuing there, didn't I?
No, I am in sync with what you said. Yeah, you definitely want to start building projects. And the best way for a beginner, exactly what you said, take a look at the web dev fundamentals, especially with the early bird pricing and that like opportunity cost that you brought up. Yeah, definitely. HVAC, that can be a killer on the old back after a few years. So yeah, hopefully it could be the start of a new career for you. Maybe build a web project about HVAC.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Let's see. Dominic comes back in, says, giving you some thanks about the network part is what I'm working on the most.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Which certificates does the backend bootcamp align with? Well, you get exposure to cloud, and so that exposure would directly lead into some more opportunities there. But I'm actually you're actually asking this question, I feel like, towards Xandra, because she is the backend person around here. She loves to know more about what's that? Oh, well, you definitely know a lot more about Python than I do. And so what do you think about the backend bootcamp? What do you think those certificates align with?
Yeah, I believe maybe you're talking about other industry certifications, TR. So you could clarify in the chat for us. But just as Dean said, it's going to start you off on cloud knowledge and basic deployment to the top 3 cloud platforms. No shade to the other cloud platforms, but Google Cloud, Azure, and AWS. So
I'll throw the shade. Those are just better than the rest of them. All right, they're just more widely known. They're more widely used. Get educated in those, and you're gonna stand out better. All right, sorry.
Yeah, there's tons of them. There's Heroku, there's Oracle, there's a lot, DigitalOcean, but we are teaching you the most popular stuff. So you can definitely think about getting deeper into those basic certifications for cloud, and each cloud provider has their own certs. So you get the flavor of all three in the backend bootcamp because you get to try all three. And then you can decide which one you like better and go for the intro certification to that specific platform.
Yep. Yep. Actually, to kind of follow a line with that, we're coming in with more cloud questions. Like which one's better out of the two, AWS or Azure? I mean, you're talking about two tech giants here. I mean, these are the heavy hitters. I I don't really have a preference in either one of them. Do you, Zandra? I mean,
I think, and I'm not sure. Please, somebody check me or with your Google speed. I think AWS is probably the more dominant one in the industry.
I'll check.
So,
Oh,
if
I
you're
would
going
I would
just by
probably
sheer numbers, yeah. If you're going just by sheer numbers and just like brute force your way into a role, you might you could be a little more strategic there, Dominic, and Google do a job search on LinkedIn, on Indeed, your local region, and see which one of those gets more hits when you put in AWS or Azure. Which one gets more job postings in your local area? Yeah, that might be a way to do it.
So I want to take a moment to do something that's a little silly real fast. Okay, I'm asking ChatGPT to give me a one-worded answer, which is more popular, AWS or Azure?
It's
AWS
gonna
is the
say
winner.
Azure.
Yeah,
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought
yeah,
because it's
AWS.
Microsoft Stack, they would say
No,
Azure.
no, that's funny though. Actually, that would be funny.
I think it depends where you are too. Like if you're in Japan,
That's fair.
it's all Microsoft all day long. So you might be better off with Azure. So
Yeah,
it depends.
I've been seeing a lot of activity on Microsoft and what they're pushing out from LinkedIn and some posts, and they're rolling out some great programs for even people who are graduating from boot camps and offering great internships. So I'm very curious to see what Microsoft does with cloud in the next 4 or 5 years or so, because it's really blown up in just the past few years alone. It's completely different. So let's see here. Oh, what's up, Zipporah? Hey, what's going on? Zipporah and I had talked about a week ago. And so, hey, I just signed up for October 7th class. I'm really excited. I'm 40-ish, and I'm using that to my advantage. It's funny, didn't we have this same exact question very, very early on in this live stream from Kevin? Kevin asked, is 42 too old? And looky there, we got some
Hey,
people
developers
taking.
love the number 42. So go for it. Milk it while you're there.
That's true. There you go.
Mhm.
Let's see. Massa, how has the recent job growth of AI changed job hunting for beginner programmers? That's a great question. It's a great tool to use. So if you're talking specifically on how to get a job, I'm not sure if I fully understand the intention of the question though. Like, how has the recent growth of AI changed job hunting for beginners? Zandra, could you maybe help flesh this out for me too?
Yeah, I think for job hunting purposes, some people are using AI tools to mass apply robotically, programmatically for jobs. So that could be what the question's related to.
I gotcha. Yeah.
Strongly recommend that. I strongly recommend against that because you are just escalating the the war. You're just like throwing gasoline on the hot dumpster fire that is recruitment currently. But also B, you're distancing yourself even further from the human connection, which you should be doing networking in order to get yourself a job as a beginner programmer. So people who are using AI to write their resume and not double checking it, they're getting hallucinated statistics on their resumes, or made up frameworks or companies that don't exist. And so I don't recommend that at all. And it's also on the screening side too. The companies are using AI screening purposes. So you might get screened out when you shouldn't. So definitely, I think it's making me even more a firm believer in the human networking. Go back to your network.
Yeah. Great insight there. I was reading that completely different. I don't know what I was reading it as,
I
but
know the other way that you could read it as well.
Yeah.
So if you want to
Okay.
chime in on that, go for it.
Well, no, I think that's definitely the intention of that question is like, how has that growth in AI really affected? Because it's just been these past 3-4 years that AI has just blown up to an insane amount, a terrifying speed, honestly, because tech has always moved faster than legislation has historically, always. And so that's kind of a scary thought to think about. But, I think as long as you're using it as a tool and not becoming a victim of the mindset of how AI is taking your job, or as or has AI, I guess, put a guardrail up for me not getting a job, things like that. Use it as a tool, and you should be good to go. Let's see. Yeah, we got a lot more questions coming in. Let's see. I'm enrolled for the Nucamp Cybersecurity Fundamentals. I dabbled in some front end and back end in high school, but that has been over 15 years ago. Yeah, I would take maybe the conceptual things that you knew from high school 15 years ago, hold on to that. But really, what you think you know from 15 years ago, aside from, problem solving skills and critical thinking, probably just set that aside. A lot's changed in 15 years. I mean, a lot's changed in just 5 to 10 years. And so, but for for the cybersecurity fundamentals, I think it's gonna give you some really great memories, fond memories of going back to something you enjoyed during that time. And that's a big reason people are joining boot camps too, is because it's a familiar feeling of, I did this in high school, I did this in college, I really enjoyed it, but I never pursued it. And it's always nice to hear those stories of people getting back into it and then finding success. It's like, I don't know, warms my heart. Let's see.
Tabby Tech. Shout outs to Tabby Tech.
Tabby Tech. Where was Tab? Oh, Tabby Tech. There we go. Krista's Tabby Tech. Yeah. Oh, we should start Toast Tech. Oh, future collab, maybe? Well, let's see. We'll talk. We'll talk.
You heard
We'll
it here
talk.
first, folks.
Maybe. Little Easter egg. I'm also thinking to join the Fundamentals Bootcamp and a student of BS Software Engineering. Will it be a good fit for me? I personally love the idea of, if you're already going for a degree, then pairing that with building projects through a boot camp of some sort. I always think that's a great idea. So really, I lean way more towards it's a good idea. What would be the bad ideas though? Like if it's a proven boot camp to provide projects, great stats, great community, networking, there's a lot working in the favor of how that could help you later on than against it. But if you are wanting more information on how to get started, or maybe a more in-depth conversation, Nadia, boom, right there. Scan that QR code. I made it specifically for you. So
Nice.
let's see. Oh, I didn't miss the toast comment. I just got to it. Sorry. Yeah. For everybody who's hearing us talk about toast, it's not like actual bread. We're not talking about toast. My kitten's name is Toast, and she is learning how to get into tech right now. But yeah, we got about 15 more minutes. So ask some questions, here to help. Oh, Nadia, one last thing. The early bird discount for the web development fundamentals, if that's the boot camp that you are referring to, the early bird discount for that ends on Monday. So, if you need me to send you a syllabus, if you need me to give you any more insight to that, just let us know, and we can definitely do that. but yeah, ask some more questions. We got 20 people in here in the
Mhm.
chat. I would love to kind of keep this rolling and close out on a bang. Because
Yeah,
right
my
now,
husband was texting me from the living room. He was tuned in, and he said like AWS is more for the person who was asking about AWS versus Azure. Has a more extensive range of services, so they have lots of different little tools inside AWS, and Azure is more for integration with microservices and hybrid solutions. So you would know. Yeah, definitely do your research there for whoever was asking about AWS versus Azure.
yeah, everybody should be able to do their own research a little bit and get a little guidance along the way. And that's exactly what we're here to do. So, Jolie had a question. If you are new to tech and taking the cybersecurity course, will it be challenging? You know, that's kind of difficult to say again because it is made specifically where you can jump into it not having any prerequisites involved. So you, as long as you know how to operate a computer, the curriculum is set out to help guide you through that, right? Um, I personally don't think that it's going to be extremely difficult. Remember, at the end of the day, Nucamp is there to work with you, not against you. And so if you feel like you're struggling or you need some more time, that's when you would communicate that with your instructor. And there is structure to the whole boot camp too. I mean, it's graded. You're going through and taking exams, and there are indicators along the way to identify some of the things that you're struggling with. So there are a lot of guardrails for you in case you were thinking, what if I go through the boot camp and then not do so great? You know, we're not going to kick you out of the boot camp or say, well, good luck out there. It's not set up like that. Our success is predicated on your success. So if you go through it, I think that you'll do fine with it. Generally speaking, we have the bulk of our students are coming from a different type of background learning this stuff, and we're seeing great feedback. And so I think you'll be good. Just to bring some more comfort to that.
Mhm. Nice.
Let's see. And
Thanks, Dean. Good. Oh, what's the schedule for web fundamentals? So we're working full time. I can take that one.
yeah, go for it.
So it is a self-study schedule. So you're asking, what's the schedule? You get to set the study schedule, and there is a live boot camp on the weekends. I'm sorry, a live workshop on the weekends. So it's a 4-hour workshop conducted by a live instructor virtually, and you will need a camera and a microphone to join in. All the self-study schedule prep that you've done in the week, Monday through Friday, you're going to apply during that live 4-hour hands-on workshop and build a website with the goal of deploying it using Google Firebase at the end.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. I think a lot of people do get confused on self-taught versus self-paced, right? Like, or self-paced versus self-taught, whatever you want to say. Keep in mind, you still have an instructor. You have a lifeline all throughout the week, right? So if you have questions, let's say you run into an issue on a Monday or Tuesday, and you can't wait until that weekend workshop to get it resolved, we do not want to leave you hanging, right? So that's when you would reach out, communication, say that you're struggling with something, say that something came out. Notice I'm saying when you run into something. It's not if, it's more than likely a when, because when you're pursuing this industry, you're going to run into a bug, you're going to run into something, and you're going to Google and go on Stack Overflow and try and find answers, and it's just not going to happen. Sometimes you need that human interaction. So all that said, Monday through Friday, you do not have to sacrifice your work. If you're working full time, we're not one of these boot camps to say, well, you need to change your work schedule around us. It's not what we're trying to do. We give you a lot of flexibility Monday through Friday, and then you get to choose that time block on the weekends for the live workshops as well. All right. Lots of thank yous coming into the chat. I love it. And just as another reminder, just because I see a lot of people not take advantage of these open houses and campfires and things that we do, we just added in this QR code that schedules a call with me. Even if it's a quick call where you're just wanting a discount, I can give you that. But you got to schedule the call with me in order to get that. So if you're thinking about getting onboarded, especially if you're thinking about the web development fundamentals, that early bird discount ends on Monday. Compare that with more coupons. Just let us know. Let's see here.
Mm-hmm.
I have to shamelessly plug that. I have to. Tell him
Sure, I
thank you for the
will. I will
compliment.
tell him. I think
And
he's in. So
he's in chat. He's in chat. Yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, we got about 10 minutes left, guys. Fire away those last second questions. Nick just came in with one. Let's see. Are most entry-level jobs in the tech industry where you work remotely, or do you still go back into a brick and mortar office or work closely with others, work closely with others? So that's an interesting question, because we're starting to see a lot of bigger tech companies actually require people to go back into office, but COVID definitely flipped the script, right? I mean, that was something where a lot of companies realized that they can reduce overhead immensely. So when it comes to those type of opportunities, I think a lot of it has to do with the business itself on how they're trying to operate. And so to kind of let me pull up that question again. Sorry, I saw Krista's message. I'll get to that in a second. But are most entry-level jobs in the tech industry remote? Some can be. Some can be. But I would say a lot of them are going to be in person. It's based off your location too. Xandra, anything to add there?
no. I think for a lot of entry level roles, they want to. If you're new to the company and you are new to the field, they want to look over your shoulder a bit for the entry level roles. So it kind of depends on working remotely or not. You might have to just say, let me do a year, like put in my time working in
Earn
the
your
office.
stripes.
Yeah, earn your stripes, and then bounce up to the next level. You might be able to get a hybrid position, so you could make that a keyword in your searches and focus on your local area as well. A lot of people overlook some of the companies for roles. Like you might have a large auto dealership chain near you. You might have a large hospital or something like that. Look at those as the potential employers.
I feel like I see a lot of more cybersecurity type roles being more remote. Am I crazy to say that? I don't know if that's true or not based off of what you've seen.
Based on what I've seen, if it's more like an IT or something like that position where you're working on the hardware in the office and securing that as well, it's in office. Yeah. So especially at the entry level, and there's that trust thing there more so with security.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess, I talked to somebody about this today. A lot of people who have found great success with going into cybersecurity have paired that by starting off with help desk type roles. And those are a lot of the times going to be remote. And then you pair that with furthering, getting more certificates and your education. And then that leads into an analyst type role. And, just based off of my own circle and findings, I see that as a large correlation to more remote work. But
help desk for sure. Yeah, it's going to be in person. And they might even send you out to clients too. So
maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw this funny website where they're talking about like horror stories, and there's this one where the guy was a help desk and he didn't want to go to the person's, customer's desk. So my computer is just, the screen is black, and then he's like, "Did you plug it in?" And then the guy's like, "No, that's your job. Come up and check what's wrong with it. I'm sure it's plugged in." And he said, "Okay, give me the serial number off the computer before I can make the ticket." And the guy's like, "Where do I find the serial number?" He's like, "Under your desk next to the plug." And then it'll be like, click. That fixed the problem.
That's funny.
Be prepared to deal with those too.
Yeah. Years ago when I worked with Geek Squad, I can't tell you how many homes I went out to saying it's the TV's not coming on, or my computer's not working. It's not plugged in, man. So yeah, it happens. Let's see. Krista coming in with some heat, I'm sure. Let's see. But many tech jobs were remote before COVID, so it's not unheard of to be entry level remote. Exactly. But COVID helped with a lot more opportunities being remote. It's there's just so much data that got presented to so many companies for that. But I think that we were talking about this earlier too with resumes. We're starting to see that pendulum swing go back and forth, right? Of remote versus in person. And right now, I think we're kind of like in the middle somewhere. So it's a great goal to work towards.
Yeah, if I may jump in, I think that your personal network, leveraging your network of folks that you know, that will help you to be that trusted quantity too, that known quantity. That you're not just some guy off the street looking for a remote job. You've been referred by your friend to this role. So it's a little bit more of, you get more of that trust equity there already, so to speak. So that could help you to land a remote role.
Yeah, I love when people use their own network for stuff, because the vast majority of people who have come into chat here aren't looking for handouts. They're looking for a hand up. There's a vast difference between the two. So ask around and see how you can get that hand up, and then just kind of work from there. But Nick, does Nucamp help with job placement after participating in the camps? Absolutely. That's like the whole thing. Like why you get into a boot camp, I feel like you need to build things, acquire those skills, and then we have to consistently place our students in quality positions. If we don't, then we're going to bleed out and have a lot more 1-star reviews, and people are going to say they hate us and all types of stuff, right? So,
well, we don't place anyone in a position. So
thank you for correcting me there. We want to help in that process, though.
Yeah, that's a really expensive and technically difficult thing to execute, placing people into roles. I mean, think about Nick, if you wanted to get your cousin a job on your job site. It's not super easy, even for someone that you know and love, to hook them up with a role. So we don't promise that. We do get you skilled, and we do support you with coaching, with resume review, with a jobs board. We do our best to give advice on how you can execute that job search, and we give you a free career course too after graduation as well.
Yeah, there are a lot of resources for that. So thank you for correcting me with job placement, because you probably already seen out there, Nick, like there are a lot of boot camps that will say, we'll 100% guarantee a job, or don't pay us until you get a job. Have fun reading through the 60 pages of terms and services for that, because that's a slippery slope. We let our stats speak for themselves, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier. If you go to our website under job outcomes and then career services, that's where you're going to see some stats get presented for the past 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. And so I would highly recommend taking a look at that too. But the job hunting bootcamp in particular, amazing. In fact, the last campfire we had with one of the instructors, Victor, for the job hunting bootcamp, amazing information. In fact, that was probably one of my most favorite live streams that I've ever heard. And I do the live streams. It's probably my favorite one that I've ever listened to was when he was there with Ludo talking about it. So I'd highly recommend checking that out. If you got some windshield time in between jobs, listen to that. And I think it would give you a lot more insight. And we'll close out with this. Krista saying, and the huge Nucamp family as a network. Absolutely. I mean, you get the graduates, the alumni, the networking, the channels specifically for job postings and whatnot too within our Discord community. So
make friends, team up, build a product, build a firm, we do some of that networking inside of our community as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But guys, it's around that time. Aw, sad face.
It's about that time.
Yeah, it's been an hour. already. Kind of crazy. But if you guys had any additional questions, if you're still here in chat, boom, scan that QR code, schedule some more time. We can get a little bit more personal about the situation, what you're looking for, what you're trying to do. And that's like a one-way ticket to more discounts as well. So if you're looking at trying to join that Web Development Fundamentals, once again, I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but a lot of people do forget about the early bird discount. So if you are looking at any of them, 2 weeks or more in advance will save you a good bit of change. And so just have that in the back of your head. All right. Well, guys, it was a pleasure. Xandra, do you have any closing thoughts or anything like that?
Don't sleep on that early bird discount. Get in there. Web Dev
There you go.
Fundamentals. Take a shot there.
Cool. Awesome. All right, guys, take it easy. We'll see y'all in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.
Laters.